What is up, everyone? Week number 15 of this 16-week training journey. Only 2 weeks left, including this one until the big day. I mean, all the feels. I mean, we're almost there. You know, it's been an incredible journey so far, and I'm looking forward to marathon day. So I'm actually just leaving the gym, taking a little walk here. We had some rain this morning. It was a little too much to run in, so I had to do some indoor running, which you guys know is my absolute favorite. But, you know, did what I had to do. But anyway, so last week was my taper week, and my longest run was only 9 miles. I mean, after running 20 miles the previous week, 9 miles was pretty much nothing, and it really just flew by, honestly. And I think for the week, my total was, let me try to think. I think it was it was 27 miles, and this week my longest run is only going to be 8 miles, so we're still kind of coming down a little bit. I'm going to do 17 miles total for the week, so I'm looking forward to that. You know, kind of like the taper is always, kind of like that rest and cool down. And of course, next week, the longest run of the week is going to be the marathon. I'm looking forward to that, 26.2 miles. Here we go. Anyway, the weather for this week, we got some rain in the forecast for today, and it's going to be cooler in the beginning of the week. But you know what, towards the end of the week, it's going to start warming up. Looking forward to that. It's going to be in the low 80s towards the end of the week. So when I do my 8-mile run over the weekend, it's going to feel pretty good. Hopefully it's not too warm. But anyway, as long as we stay away from those cold 30-degree temperatures, I'm good.
All right, guys, I have another special treat for you guys this episode. I've got my friend Chris on. Chris is a physical therapy assistant. A little bit of background about our friendship here. So Chris was actually my RA, my resident advisor back in college. So we've known each other about 10 years. So I'm kind of like dating us here. But Chris is a really good guy, really good friend, and he has the most epic, or he did have the most epic Super Bowl parties. We're allowed to say Super Bowl these days. So we'll say he has the most epic big game parties. But anyway, I've got Chris on today to talk about, from his perspective as a PTA, I'm going to ask him a couple of questions related to training I'm training for a marathon here. So just kind of questions around injury prevention and say you do get injured, how to get back in the game, so to speak. And Chris, thank you for your time.
No problem, Justin.
Yeah, Chris is actually, he actually lives out in the Bay Area. So he's near San Francisco. So he's actually 3 hours behind me. So thank you for your time this evening. And it's pretty late on my end, but you know what? We're making it work here. So just a couple questions here, Chris. So Chris, actually, tell the people out there what exactly a physical therapy assistant does.
Well, my job is to take patients in who have some sort of trauma or injury to them or recovering from a surgery, and we help them get back to their prior level of function is always what we want to get them to. That's always the goal of the therapist. So we see somebody post-surgery, we take care of them, get them back to where they want to be, or if they re-injure that area, then we get them back to where they were before again.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I actually never looked up the definition of a PTA, so thank you for that. So just I'll keep it pretty short here. So first question I got for you is how like from my perspective, since I'm training for a marathon, how can I be proactive when training to avoid injury?
So the number one thing you need to pay attention to, and I'm sure you've heard this before from other people who've ran, is shoes. You need to make sure you're taking care of your feet first. I always tell my patients this. It was actually Dr. Cooper who taught me this when I was in school. If you have a crack in the second story of your home, where do you go to check the problem? You go to the basement, you check the foundation. So regardless of what you're running, if you don't have the right footwear, you'll start developing shin splints, knee pain, hip pain, or back pain. It affects all of it. So your shoes are critical to make sure that you can actually have a successful run. The next thing is make sure you ease into whatever you're doing. Don't increase your mileage right away, thinking that, I can jump up because my cardio is doing really well and I should just keep going, I'm feeling good. No, stick to your plan. Whatever the plan is that you've been put on, whether it's a novice plan or advanced plan, stick with it. Do not jump ahead. That's when you start developing shin splints.
That's great. That's great insight there. Sometimes it's really easy to get off track and like not stick to your plan. You get kind of gung-ho, so to speak, and like you want to kind of do your own thing. You forget, I need to stay on my plan. Otherwise, going off the beaten path, literally and figuratively, could lead to injury. So yeah, thanks for that insight there. Say I do get a small injury, for example, not like a broken leg, but say I get like a an ankle sprain or I pull a muscle in my leg, something like that, what's the first thing I should do, and how would I go about getting back into the game and back into my training?
The first thing, I just want to make sure this is clear, because a lot of people make this mistake all the time, is if you ever hurt yourself, never, ever put heat on something within the first 48 hours of it, okay? Because you're actually going to make it worse. Because let's say you have a small tear or a small bleed at all, that heat is going to expand that area and cause more bleeding. So you don't want that. So it's just going to prolong your injury. So ice every time you have an injury. But what you need to do is I know it's going to stink and it's going to get you off your plan, but you're going to have to take some days off and you're going to have to let that area rest and then test it out and then gradually increase your way back up to where you were prior at the training level. Your cardio shouldn't change so much, but you got to let your tissue heal to make sure you can get back there without re-injuring that area that you hurt.
Great. Thank you for that. I learn something new every day. So, like I said, I keep it really short, and that's just kind of straight and to the point there. So, any other words of wisdom you have when it comes to marathon training, or really any kind of training related to running or any kind of physical activity that maybe I may have missed, or just something that you'd love to give some insight on? One thing, there's a couple things. Always make sure you hydrate and train when you're hydrating. Okay, don't just think, okay, I'm on train like without a water bottle, and then your race, you're going to run with your water bottle. You want to make sure you're getting the right amount of hydration the entire time, and you don't just change it up last minute for your race, whatever you're doing. The other thing is with the icing. If you do have an injury and you need to ice something, it's 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. So you place the ice on the site of injury, you leave it on there for 20 minutes, then you take it back off, you rest it for 20 minutes, and then you can put it back on. Don't leave it on for a long duration of time. 20-minute rule is the golden standard. And then also make sure that you're keeping track of how much you're eating. I believe from some of the people that I've worked with before, they said they increase their carbohydrate intake. They make sure that they have a race at like 6 a.m., they eat at like 3 a.m. Or let's say they eat, make sure you just have your carbs, because you do not want to go into a long race with no calories to burn. That's one of the other mistakes that we can see. Well, awesome, Chris. Thanks again. Thanks so much for your time. And thank you guys out there for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications. And I will see you guys next week in the next video. Take care.